Can we start with the squad news? Every week there's something new. I guess there will be again, won't there?
It's a couple of bumps and bruises, so we'll have to assess it over today and tomorrow and see if we can get out training tomorrow and formulate a plan to try and go in for the big game on Saturday.
How's Seamus and Mo Sangare?
Yeah, they'll probably both have scans, so we'll await the results of the scans before we make any second guesses.
That's a sign of concern already, isn't it, that you need a scan?
It is, yeah. It's a sign of concern if Seamus goes off. You know, anyone who knows Seamus as a character, he's got a very high pain threshold, that's for sure. And he wouldn't come off unless he had to come off. We've got a couple of players like that. And, you know, that's when the alarm bells ring.
Just on the other night, from your perspective, performance-wise, were you pretty content, or was it to the level that you weren't expecting?
If you take it as the whole picture, yeah, I was delighted with the attitude that we showed. We took the game to them from the very first kick of the game. Drove at them, Sean Wally really unlucky with a great shot. And so we were positive throughout the first half. Even down to 10 men. I think it galvanised us of anything. But when you look at the whole picture, terrible defending for the sending off, terrible defending for the first goal, poor defending for the second goal, and even worse defending for the third goal. So they didn't have that many chances. So we didn't have a great deal to do. And for the dominance that we had, we should have made more chances. Now, it's difficult when you've got 10 against 11 because it's difficult to get that extra man into space to have a chance. But we did make some creditable ones, and we had that spell in the second half where, you know, Doug possibly could leave it for Coley, which I'm not leaving it, I'm bedded in, but, and then Matt hitting the bar and a couple of other chances. But what we've had the last two games is a positivity about our play. So we've played on the front foot, we've passed the ball forward, we've got into good areas, we've got good crosses into the box. We had 20 shots the other night. Not as many on target as what I'd like to, but we're still getting into situations where we can shoot and have attempts on goal, which is good. And we've got to try and take that a step further and score when we're on top and win games.
You mentioned after the game that your team is not a dirty side. You can't think of a dirty player in your squad. The fact of the matter is, John, the sendings off will cost you, won't they?
They will, yeah. 100% they will. And they cost you in the game and they cost you in the long run. But you can moan about it, or you can focus on the players that you've got available to you, and that's what we've got to do. You know, it'd be easy to hide behind the injuries situation, and listen, it's off the graph. I've said listen then again, sorry about that. It is off the graph. But what's the point of dwelling on it? Yeah, it won't make it any better, it won't make it any stronger. We've got to dwell on the people who we've got available for us and try and get them in tip-top condition and try and formulate a plan to win a game of football. Football throws loads of imponderables and uncertainties, and the best managers in the world can't deal with them, won't be able to deal with them. And so rather than trying to deal with them uncertainties, try and focus on the things that you can control and the things that you can influence. And if you go into things with a positive nature, you've got more of a chance of getting a positive outcome. And you know, we've got a set of players in there. Everyone's desperate to play. And so we've got to get them on the pitch, and they've got to show us how keen they are to play.
It's often said, isn't it, when players go out on loan, that if they're young players, they might go and make their mistakes on loan as well. Has Lucas made one in terms of his judgment?
Lucas made a couple of errors of judgment in the last couple of weeks, and it's cost him badly. He's in a position that possibly it's only him that would get found out with them errors of judgment. You know, you can get away with them in midfield, you can get away with them up front. To a certain extent, you can get away with them as a defender. But when you're the last man, you can't. He'll be stronger for it eventually. He won't feel like that now. He's on the floor at the moment. But you have to go through things like that. All we're focusing on is the next game in hand, which is MK, and trying to get the team that we put out to play the way we want to play, stick to the game plan, and hopefully win a game.
How do you build him up again? Because I would imagine when you say he's on the floor, he'll feel responsible for that result in some ways, won't he?
He will. It's not just him. The actual sending off, Mo's is culpable because he's gone to sleep and he knows it, and there's no one hurting more than Mo at the moment as well. And then he has to go off injured as well, which he can't right or wrong that he perceives. But players do make mistakes, and sometimes you have to get other people out of trouble. And we didn't do the night. And football's littered with mistakes. We're not the only football team who makes mistakes. And there'll be somebody else who gets a silly sending off next week. I'm pleased with the character that we've shown more than anything. The fact that we did keep our discipline on the pitch, is testament to the lads' desire to try and get us out of the situation that we're in, and we'll fight till the very end.
How much does it help you that, and it might well have been set up this way by yourself and Jimmy here, John, that Toby Savin's got some regular football while he's not been playing? It's got to be a help to you, that, hasn't it?
It's a boost, and that's why we had no hesitation when Steve contacted me and asked, was he available? Yeah, it ticked every box. And Toby's a good keeper. I'm still convinced Toby will go all the way to the top flight. He's had a lot of games under his belt at his young age, and it's down to him now to get his head down and try and stake a claim for a place in our team, let alone looking ahead, which I think there is a bright future ahead of him. But he'll get that bright future if he concentrates on here and now, and the here and now is Saturday.
Such a key position, that goalkeeping slot with 11 to play, isn't it?
It is, and we've had loads of good keepers in the past who've gone on to bigger and better things, and hopefully Toby will be another one.
Just with that, the gloves will be his for at least 2 games, won't they? It's a good chance for him to stake a claim.
Well, he's in a situation now where he's got a shirt to lose rather than try and fight for the shirt. Now that's come in unforeseen circumstances, but if he can keep 2 clean sheets the next 2 games, why wouldn't you want to keep him?
You've got arguably the biggest game of the season. Are they all that now?
They're all that now, but just the proximity of the 2 clubs to each other in the lower reaches of the league. I think it is a big game, and we've got to treat it like a big game.
Yeah, it's the second of 3 home games in a row, and making the most of those is vital, isn't it, after the first one?
Well, it is, but I mean, they'll be thinking about it. It's a big game as well, and that's a marvellous opportunity for them as well. To leapfrog us. So we're not under the illusions that we've just got a divine right to win it, because we haven't. But it won't be people who want to try, and I can assure you of that.
There's other clubs in it now, aren't there, as well, when you look at that league table?
Yeah, we had an opportunity to go past Oxford during the night, but it's still in our own hands, and while it's in our own hands, we can only concentrate on us and nobody else, and let's hope it's still in our own hands after Saturday.
With 11 to go, people look at it, and you've told me this a couple of weeks ago already, you'd much rather have the points in the bag than worry about games in hand.
If someone give me 13 points now, I'd snap your hand.
13?
I'd say 13 now.
Do you think that's more than enough?
No, it's more than enough, but I think he'd be on the edge of it.
So you've already worked out permutations, have you?
Well, no, but I'd like 20 points. The fact is that we've got to find a way to win 3 or 4 games, and then try and draw a couple, and limp over the line really. But I'd love to sprint over the line.
If you're up by a goal after 46 games, do you care?
Wouldn't care anything. Staying up. That's the priority, and we'll go all out to do it. 13 points mightn't be enough. But if we can get up to 50 points and you don't stay up, well, you can just say, well, we've done our best, and ultimately, whatever happens, with the season that we've had and the misfortune that we've had, to be still fighting in it, I think, is testament to the character of the players.
In terms of stressful seasons that you've had, and stressful for various reasons, John, you've been manager at this football club where you're not sure whether the players will get paid. That's not a problem these days. But in terms of the stress of being a football manager, is this right up there?
Yeah, 100% it is. And fighting for, to avoid relegation, it's a similar stress to when you win in leagues, because human nature to have something and to lose it, that fear is stronger than losing something that you haven't got. So, or losing something that you've earned is it hurts you. And when we've won leagues, we've been in a position where we've always looked like we're going to win the league. So then the pressure of not losing that, and then how hard we've worked to get into this situation, it'd be heartbreaking to lose our Division 1 status. So, you know, they have all got the pressures, but this is certainly the most stressful season I've encountered. Only because of the way it's panned out and the way I've had to chop and change the team nearly every week, and through no choice really, because that's the way circumstances have prevailed and that's the hand they've been dealt. And it's difficult when you keep on having to play a hand. You know, you'd like to be sitting on a pair of aces, wouldn't you, rather than hoping that someone's going to come up on the flop.
So you think this is the most stressful out of all of them?
Without a doubt, yeah, because of how it's panned out and the uncertainty of it. That's been the big stress.
MK Dons, they got a win last time out, didn't they? What sort of game are you expecting?
It's a tough game. You know, they've got good players and they're capable of performing well against any team, and we've seen that this season. They've lost by the odd goal numerous times this season when they've possibly should have done better, but we have to try and impose our style of football onto them. We'll do our due diligence on them, which we're already doing and we already have, and we'll continue to do so over the next couple of days. But we have to focus on the way we play, and try and get our house in order before we concern ourselves with other people.
Have they had a different style at all since Liam Manning's gone? Do you feel that they play any different?
You can see the similarities. I think that's embedded in the club at the moment. Possibly difficult to translate that to a new manager, but you know, they'll believe that they can get out of it by winning games. So same as us.